Welcome to the Soul Call with Kelly B. I'm Kelly Butchart, soul medicine woman, energy alchemist, intuitive guide and change maker. I'm here to activate soul remembrance, unlock purpose and support the personal and collective evolution into sacred sovereignty. This podcast is a space for heart-led women to rise, to take their power back, to walk in truth and live elevated lives of joy, abundance and deep fulfillment. Through powerful conversations with visionaries, way-showers and spiritual leaders, we weave ancient wisdom, quantum healing and divine insight to awaken something within your soul. This is more than a podcast, it's a movement, a remembering. This is the Soul Call. All of my offerings, social links and ways to connect are in the show notes below each episode. Be sure to check them out, I'd love to meet you there. And please remember to like, subscribe and share. Thank you for being here. Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Soul Call with myself, Kelly B. Today I'm joined by the wonderful Cheryl Lessels. Cheryl is a mum, teacher and founder of Happy Thoughts Squad. Cheryl's mission is to provide an oasis of calm amidst the chaos, supporting parents and carers in nurturing the emotional well-being of their daughters with ease and grace. From her own personal experience, she knows just how difficult it can be to watch your daughter struggle with anxiety or low self-confidence. And that's what inspired her to create the Happy Thoughts Squad subscription box. Each month, families receive simple, fun activities designed to build confidence, calming creative tools to ease stress, and mindful moments to strengthen relationships. At its heart, Happy Thoughts Squad is about helping girls feel braver, calmer, and more sure of themselves, while giving mums, parents, and carers the peace of mind that they're doing enough. I'm so excited to welcome Cheryl today to share her journey, the story behind Happy Thoughts Squad, and the beautiful impact it's having on families. Cheryl, welcome to my show.
Hello, it's lovely to talk to you. Hello, that sounded amazing. How fab.
That's because it is. It's absolutely amazing what you have birthed and created. So
thank you.
I would love, and this is why I've invited you on today to hear so much more about the work that you are now doing, Cheryl. But I just wanted to give a wee shout out to Susan, our mutual friend, for resharing your Instagram post on her social media. And that's where I first spotted your beautiful face and the beautiful products and the beautiful service that you're providing. And I thought, oh my goodness, I must invite Cheryl onto my podcast. So thank you for accepting and coming on.
No worries, and thank you, Susan.
I know, thank you, Susan.
Oh, no,
so we had a brief connection call just a couple of days ago, and we actually discovered that we were at the same high school at the same time. We played in the same basketball team. It's
I know.
What a small world.
The universe is working for us to meet, Kelly. It's lovely to be here. Thanks so much for having me. I'm really chuffed to be able to share the message that Happy Thoughts Squad is all about, really.
Amazing. So Cheryl, we also didn't just go to the same high school, but we've had a shared, although separate journey in education. So you also spent 20 plus years in education as a primary school teacher, like myself. You've transgressed into this incredible subscription product that you've got. I feel it's going to grow. I feel there's going to be so much more to come from Cheryl Lessels, but I would love to hear a bit more about what that journey has been for you, and how, you're showing up now in service, like why the change?
Yeah, so I left teaching. Well, sorry, I was teaching for 22 years, like you said, and I left school in 2023, and I was tired, Kelly, and I needed a breather. So I was lucky enough to be in the position that I was able to leave teaching. But I'd always loved working with children. That'd been my thing. Early years was my specialism. I absolutely loved it. So when I left teaching, I just wanted to breathe. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't set out to start a new business. That wasn't my intention. But one of my teaching pals, I think she was maybe annoyed that she was in the classroom and I was at home having a wee cup of tea. And she sent me a link for an online business course. And she says, this might get your brain going. It's like, right, okay. So I signed up for the course, and it was a 12-week course. And I was always up for learning, life's just a never learning process, isn't it? You learn something new every day, so they say. But I was always up for learning more. So I took part in this course, and it was online, and enjoyed it. But the lassie that was leading it, she kept saying, use the knowledge that you've got to put into business. And I'm like, I've just been, I don't mean I've just been a primary teacher, but you know what I mean? Yeah. Primary teaching's been really the only thing that I've done. So what can I do? I didn't want to be a tutor. I didn't want to do anything like that. I needed a break from actually physically being hands-on. So I didn't want to do tutoring or anything along those lines, or workshops or anything. But prior to the course, Abby, my own daughter, sorry, I'll probably get a bit emotional talking about it, but Abby, when she was 14, 15, experienced anxiety and panic attacks. Sorry. And as a mum, it was watching that unfold was really difficult. Yeah. Really difficult. I just wanted to fix it for her. Mm-hmm. And it's not a quick fix. It's not something that's easy to manage, actually. It's really difficult. And despite having all the nurture, educational knowledge and all the well-being background that you have in school, just in that moment was really hard. And so a wee spark kind of clicked when the woman was saying, use the knowledge that you've got. And I was like, right, okay. So I had that lived experience with my own daughter. Mm-hmm. And then I've got all my educational background. I know what tools worked in the classroom, particularly during COVID, when emotional well-being was the highest point on the agenda it's ever been, I think. Yeah. All the tools that you put in place to support their mindset before any learning actually takes place. Because you know yourself, if the wee ones are in the classroom and their mindset is not in the right space, you could bang on about numbers and stories all day. They're not going to learn anything if they're not in the space ready to learn. So I knew a lot of the tools that could be implemented, plus my experience that I had with Abby. And I thought, how could I tie the two together, really, so that I can support other mums and other families who were in that position? Because I knew at the time, I felt like it, but I thought, I can't be the only mum experiencing this. There has to be something that I can do to support that. So I came up with the idea of my subscription box, Happy Thought Squad, came into being. And so the reason I went for the subscription box, and do interrupt me if I'm talking too much, Kelly, but...
Absolutely, keep going. This is amazing. Yeah, it's great. We want to hear all about it.
I know. Well, the reason I went for the subscription box is because I could have written a book or done a podcast or whatever, but, children learn from hands-on, tangible experiences. There's lots of other learning styles that they learn with, but mainly if there's something hands-on and physical, they'll remember or they'll get something from it. And so I wanted to put a tangible product together. And that got me thinking, right, something that's delivered to the house might be fun because everything's digital these days, you get emails, you get Snapchats, however they're communicating these days. There's very, very few times that maybe their birthday, they'll get something through the letterbox. And so I wanted something that would bring a wee bit of excitement, but something that was tangible and something that would help develop the relationship between the child and the trusted adult, whether it's mum, dad, granny, auntie, whoever that trusted adult is that's working with them. And so a lot of the products in the box are targeted for both the adult and the child to do. Not all of them. Some of them are just for the wee one on their own. But a lot of them can be done together. And that's the reason that that's there, is to develop the relationship, because Abby and I, it was mainly at the time, it was mainly through breathing exercises that we were able to work through that actual moment. And thereafter we put in other little tools to support our self-regulation when she needed it, like journaling and positive self-talk and all that kind of stuff. But actually in the moment was breathing. And I wanted to share all the ways that we, as a mum and daughter, move forward. I wanted to share that in some way with other families. And so that's really what it's all about. It really came from a combination of my lived experience as a mum and my educational knowledge. But I am really aware that I didn't really want to share Abby's story, because that's her story. That's for her to tell. So I like to kind of share it from the perspective of as mum, as the adult looking in, because it was awful. It was really awful, and she would maybe be, hyperventilating or sweating, and I'm trying to stop myself from hyperventilating, because you just want to support, don't you? And you get, it was awful. It was really difficult. But here I am as a result of it. Good things come from difficult times, don't they?
Absolutely. And thank you so much for sharing that. I know that you've not gotten into the personal story, because like you rightly point out, that's Abby's story.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for giving us that hope, that there's another side to this.
Yeah.
And for mentioning that, because that takes courage, having had so much experience as a teacher, you're working with children every day. The pressure for you as a working mum is real as well. So, even with all the tools, all of the knowledge that you had, the skill set that you had, to still feel almost like helpless in that situation and feeling vulnerable as a mum.
Absolutely.
And wanting to just make it better for your daughter. And it's so important that all parents out there recognise that we're all just doing our best,
Yeah.
and that we can't save our children from every difficult experience either, and neither should we, because as difficult as it is to watch, it's their journey. And so I love how you said that. That was Abby's journey, and what she will learn and how she'll evolve beyond this and how she'll grow. You've gone on to this, beautiful creation for others. Who knows what Abby's going to, do in the future,
I
of
know.
service, of to help others, because I have a saying, and I truly believe this, that wisdom is earned and knowledge is learned.
Yeah.
So wisdom is that lived experience that you've spoken about. It's like, I've gone through this, I've lived this. This is what our reality was. And now I'm through the other side. I'm now here to help others, share
Yeah.
with others. It's not like I've just learned this out of a book.
No,
This is the reality of it. And
absolutely.
I
You're
think that's
right.
what gives it much more credibility as well, Cheryl.
Yeah. But I'm also really conscious that I'm not a mental health expert. I
Mhm.
don't have a degree in emotional well-being, but I'm
Uh,
a mum, like you say, who's experienced it, and I'm a
yeah,
primary teacher. And
yeah.
so the combination of the two, I think, has enabled me to pull this together. I
Mhm.
think it would be very difficult. I don't think I would have the kudos, I feel like, had I not experienced that as a mum. Do you
Yeah,
know what I mean? I'd still have the
absolutely.
primary teacher, obviously, knowledge behind it. But yeah, I think the combination of both, not that I would want anybody to experience it because it was really difficult,
Yeah, yeah,
but I do have the permission of my daughter
yeah,
to talk about this and
yeah.
put it together and share that she's my inspiration behind it. Because she absolutely is. I'm so proud of her. It's not a fix it box. It's not a box that will fix emotional well-being. It's a wee toolbox
Mhm.
of strategies and ideas. And
Yeah,
Abby, she's 20 next month. She's at uni. She's doing great. She still has wobbles. I mean,
yeah,
she absolutely still does, but she's now got the tools to self-regulate
yeah,
and put in place what
yeah.
she knows works for her.
Yeah.
So some of the things in the box might not work for people, but that's okay, because there might be something else the next month
Yeah.
that they could use within their own journey as well, you know. So yeah,
Amazing.
yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting.
And, I have, this shared excitement and passion for children's well-being. And,
Yeah.
I work predominantly with adults now, but I still work with some children and teenagers. And, it starts when you're a child. If we can give children these tools and these methods to empower them to take self-responsibility, to
That's it.
self-regulate, so that you're not building up a codependent relationship. I mean, obviously they need guidance. You need to
Yeah.
show them what to do. They can't just expect them just to know.
Yeah.
But um, that is what is so crucial. And for me, when I worked in school, it was a non-negotiable in my school that we did meditation every day.
Mhm.
And so we brought that in as a whole school practice. And, you can imagine there was some a lot of people were needing one
Challenge.
over. They were
Yeah.
resistant
Yeah.
to, like, they were dubious about it because maybe they hadn't ever experienced it before or
Yeah.
experienced the benefits. But, you know, let's give it a try. Let's see how we go.
Mhm.
And that for me just changed so much culturally. It changed the dynamics. It had an impact clearly on the focus, the concentration, the
Yeah.
behaviour. It calmed everything right down in an open plan school. It was just incredible. And then there were other things that we introduced as well, like we had yoga mats in the corners of every room so children can have the freedom to go and, do stretches and
Yeah.
movement breaks and things.
Mhm.
And these are just simple things, right?
Yeah.
Simple things that if you start to build that in as habits,
That's
um, breaking the old patterns of, just going home and maybe putting the telly on or sitting with a screen.
Yep.
So this is why I also love your concept because you talked about different learning styles, talked about the practical, the kinesthetic, hands-on stuff. That makes it memorable. It makes it more special and tangible. So
Mhm.
I absolutely love this concept. And I think, what you are, pardon the pun, delivering, through families' doors has the potential actually to change lives. So
Yeah.
I know that you're, being very humble about it, Cheryl, but it can be the simplest things. It's just you're disrupting old patterns, changing how we think, not defaulting to screens. It's like, let's do something pleasurable and nice
Yeah.
together as a family or individually. So I would love to hear a little bit more about, because you've got two age levels of the
I
books
do. Yeah.
and a little bit more about what's in the books and sort of maybe some of the feedback, from the girls and the families that are
Yeah.
working with these boxes.
Yeah. So I do. I've got two boxes. So one's for ages 7 to 12, and one's for 13 to 16. Initially, I was just going to do a primary box because that was my expertise. But I was talking to other mums about it, and they're like, "Why are you not doing a teenage version?" I'm like, why am I not? Abby was 14. Why
Yeah,
am I not doing it?
yeah,
So I kind of just took the bull by the horns and thought, yeah, I'm going to, because when I'm sourcing the products that go in the box, and I'll talk about what go in the box shortly, I'm just making them age appropriate. So it didn't make any difference whether I did one or I did two. So that's why I do two. But inside the box, so each box is themed. There's a different theme each month, and so inside each box, there's always a book of some kind. Now, I think that's because the teacher in me, I love sharing books and
yep,
stories and all that kind of stuff. But for example, this month's October's box, which goes out on the 15th, is all about be the change. And it's about being original and, not following your peers if you don't want to. It's just about being you. And so the book that goes in the younger version is actually all about Greta Thunberg, the activist.
yep,
And it's real life, it's stories that they might be aware of, but maybe not bothered. Like, I'm not interested in reading that book, but if it's actually in front of them and they're sharing it with an adult or reading it themselves, they might be inspired to think, she went out on a limb, and look at the global impact she's made. I'm not saying that the girls will make a global impact, but my goodness, they absolutely have the potential to. So there's always a book of some kind. There's always positive affirmation of some kind, at least one positive affirmation card. There's always wee stickers to match it, and there's always a funky pen. And I guess, you know, teachers love stationery, don't we? It's like shiny, shiny. Show me a stationery shop, you'll see 50 teachers in there. So there's always a lovely wee pen, and that's just to make it feel nice and special. But the things that support their emotional well-being in particular are things like the conversation starter card. So again, it's themed according to whatever the theme of the box is, but there's always 2 questions in there. For example, what made you happy today? Or how would your body feel if you were angry? They're open-ended. And along with the conversation card comes 2 cookies and a hot chocolate sachet in a tea bag. And so that's so the adult and the child can make time and sit down. And it's like you're saying, it's creating little habits, little ritual habits of change, just wee tiny ones. But if the girl is practiced in conversation, not necessarily about emotions, but practiced in conversation, that when the time comes when she's maybe transitioning from primary to high school, for example, and she's got a lot of worry happening, or she's got friendship issues, and there's a lot of, you know, her tummy's upset and she's not sleeping great, then that conversation might just spark the opportunity for her to open up. So that goes in every box. There's always a crafting activity in every box, because crafting is great for mindfulness. You're focusing on the present. It doesn't matter what happened before or what's going to happen afterwards. So there's always a crafting activity, and there's a wee set of instructions that come with the box, and I always encourage to do it together, or you can do it on your own. It doesn't really matter, but just to talk about it, again, another lovely opportunity. There's always at least one other kind of activity, like a meditation or a movement break, or advice about going outside and breathing in for 5, shutting your eyes. What can you see? What can you hear? You know, and just being in the moment. So there's always some kind of calming, slow down opportunity. And that can be adopted at any time, but it's the practice of it to use when you need it. There's always a wee information card about why it's important. For example, so a couple of months ago, my box was all about being positive. So why is being positive important? You know, why do you want to have a positive day? Well, because when you're thinking positively, you're looking for positive things rather than the negative. You know, if you're being grateful for things, you're noticing the small good things, like you wore your favourite trainers that day. That's amazing. Or you had a really lovely sweet treat in your lunchbox today that you didn't expect. Or there was a wee note from mum in your lunchbox, and that like really, you know, made your day, that kind of thing. So there's always little pointers as to why what's in the box is in the box. I'm trying to think what else I've got in the box that I've not actually shared. Oh, there's always an additional wee gift. So last month I had a wee star-shaped stress ball, just for, you know, for squishing when you need to squish something really hard. And this month I've got a lovely key ring that's bespoke. It's been made specifically. So my tagline is kind heart, fierce mind, brave spirit. And so each of those short sentences has got a wee logo to it. So I've got a heart, a lightning bolt, and a wee funky V fingers. So I've met a lovely jeweler who's made a key ring to remind the girls that they've got a fierce mind, and it's the lightning bolt logo and a lovely key ring. So there's always a wee surprise, a wee extra surprise. Other things that have been in it, I've had like little tokens, wee ceramic tokens that are like little pocket hugs. So they can go in, you know, your school bag pocket, or you can hold it close to you when you need a wee hug, or put a bit of blue tack on it, put it on your mirror and remind yourself that you're loved. I've got wee bracelets for mum and daughter to wear. So if there's anxiety through separation, if you're going to school, you know, put the wee bracelet on your daughter, put the bracelet on you. Now, when you come back together, you know, or when you are separate, she'll know that you're still thinking about her. So there's a whole load of different wee tools that go in, but I put a lot of thought into it. So it's not just stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't just want a box of stuff. The stuff's lovely, I have to say. You know, I love sourcing it. I just love finding all these lovely things.
Mm.
And a couple of times I've actually bought products that are too big for the physical size of my box. So I've just had to come up with another way of delivering it to them. I've just found a lovely jiffy bag and put the box and then the additional product inside. But yeah, the sourcing is lovely. But there's thought. I want the mums and daughters or parents to know that there's a reason for the product being in the box. It's not just there's an additional wee thing.
Yeah.
Make up the value. There's a process and a reason behind it.
Yeah.
And it's all about, the majority is about connecting and that relationship building through different things. Yeah. And it's little actions that are repeated that make a difference. Just like you were saying, Kelly, if a wee bedtime story ritual could be implemented, that might be the time where they'll open up and say, I had a really rubbish day in the playground today, or, it might just support them to open up to you. Yeah. Because every day you've spent that wee bit of time at the end of the day, a couple of minutes, you've actively listened to them. You've not just listened, you're hearing them, you're making eye contact, you're nodding, you're repeating back. And then they're building the confidence in you that saying, actually, they are listening to what I'm saying. I feel I'm able to share whatever it is that's on their wee mind, So, yeah.
As you're talking, Cheryl, I'm getting lots of ideas and little downloads of things that I want to share with you about these boxes. But I know everybody watching and listening to this episode will just, your passion is oozing from you. So everybody will definitely be connecting with, how passionate you are about making a difference to these girls and their families. And that is coming from your own lived experience, because having appreciated how difficult that was as a mum and feeling helpless and feeling vulnerable in that scenario, to make this so much easier for families, just to get through it together is just amazing.
It is. And the users don't actually have to be experiencing the stress or anxiety at that moment in time. Yeah. It's a wee, like I keep saying, it's a wee box of tools to practice. Yeah. So that when the time comes, because it will, like hormones will kick in, or friendship groups will, fractures or whatever. Yeah. They don't have to be anxious to use the box. Yeah. It's to build up a foundation of tools so that when they need it, when they are feeling dysregulated or when they are distressed, they can think back, oh, actually, I remember I did that journal that was in my box. I'm going to go write down how I'm feeling and get it out of my head. Or I remember if I go outside and take 5 big breaths, that will slow my heartbeat down and I can really just stop and focus. Or if I remember I had that cup of tea and that cookie and that hot chocolate, I can actually talk to Dad, or I can actually talk to Mum about how I'm feeling. And so it's just practice in wee tiny changes, because as I say, I'm not a mental health expert, but I do know, and obviously I've done a lot of reading and a lot of research about, things that I'm putting into my boxes. It's just the wee things that make the difference. You didn't have to be an expert. And sorry, Kelly, another thing is, some families don't know where to look for ideas. Yeah. And so that was another reason for putting it together. I'm kind of saying, right, yes, you're a busy working family. Here's the tools that I think would benefit you to save you spending hours on Google and YouTube and doing the research yourself. Here it is. It's here in a box. I'm just trying to make it as easy as possible so that the families can get the benefit of it. But yeah, the feedback I'm getting has been lovely so far. Really lovely.
Amazing.
Yeah. On the sorry.
What sorts of things are people saying to you, Cheryl?
So the very first box that I sent out that night that I arrived at the house, I got a voice message from the mum to say her daughter was 14 and she was actually crying on the voice note. She says, she's 14, she's having such an awful time, and she came home to her box and she opened it and then she ran up the stairs and the mum said, and I didn't know what to expect. She says, and I went up 10 minutes later and she was sitting journaling. And I had a wee chat with her and she said she was fine. And she was journaling. And then she came downstairs and there was a wee mood tracker badge in it. She was wearing her wee badge. And then she made herself a hot chocolate and asked her mum if she wanted a wee cup of tea. And she says, I can't tell you how much it brought a change in just that day in
Oh.
how she felt about herself. Now I know that's just one day, you know, and it was brand new to her, but for mum to phone me and say, keep going, don't stop,
Mm-hmm.
was just amazing. So I've had lovely messages like that. This week I'm really chuffed because I've got my first 5-star review on Google. Yay!
Amazing. Amazing. Well, let's hope and pray there's going to be many, many more,
I
Cheryl.
know,
No
it's
doubt there will
lovely.
be.
Yeah, it's really lovely. Just actually seeing that it's making an impact
Yeah,
is great. And if it makes an impact on one girl, then you know I'm absolutely delighted. I
yeah.
really am. Yeah, it's
And you
great.
mentioned there about, the busyness of working parents as well, and they don't have maybe the time to sit and Google. So you're taking like that pressure away from them. You've already
Mhm.
sourced all these beautiful products. But it's also, even if you do have the best of intentions, you're the best mum in the world, your kids and you're just loving them to bits. And it can feel like you're being rejected sometimes as a mum as well, because no matter how loving you can be to your children, depending on their personality, but I'm now
Yeah,
speaking from my personal lived experience, where your own children can shut you out. And
yeah,
that can be quite difficult. It's like, it's almost like, oh, you don't understand, like what I'm going through, because they think they're alone in their thoughts. Or, oh, like mum's a teacher sort of thing, or I'm
I
not
does.
like everybody else, or mum always thinks she knows the answer and she's right. So, it can be hormonal. It can
Yeah,
just be like anything like that can trigger them. And then, of course, as a parent, you become triggered too, because, well, we've got emotions too, right? So we can feel completely rejected, we can
yeah,
feel helpless, we can feel like, oh.
I know.
What I love about your concept is it's depersonalizing all of that. So it's finding like a common box of beautiful resources that actually takes away from the me and you. It's like,
Yeah,
let's talk about we and us,
yeah,
and let's focus on what we can do together, which
yeah.
is like takes a bit of heat out of it all for everybody.
It
So,
does. It
and I
does.
love that.
Yeah, I was very aware of when I was putting it together that the adults would need support as well. So
Mhm.
one of the things, it's not just a physical box that comes with a subscription. So once a month I have a meet the expert type conversation.
Mhm.
And so this month it's with a lovely lady called Dina, who's a school avoidance coach. And it's just a conversation between the two of us. And then that's then shared with mums and families too. So
Right.
it's different. I've got a sleep expert coming in the next couple of months, and a somatics breathwork expert. So there's that, like you're saying. So the mum's not feeling alone and excluded herself. There's also that additional wee bit of support coming through the box. And then
Mhm.
they're also invited into, and this is an invitation to any mum, is I've got a wee Facebook group, a wee support group, just so we can share ideas ourselves. And I'll share interesting articles in there, or have you tried this wee crafting activity? Or if anybody's got an issue, they can pop it onto the group, and then other mums can say, it's not just you that's going through that. I hear you.
Yeah.
Understand what you're going
Mhm.
through, because you're right. It's really hard because your wee one can put their defences up, and then
Mhm.
you've nowhere of getting in, have you? Really? But
Yeah,
just you didn't have to say anything, but just being present is
yeah,
sometimes enough. And that
yeah,
small connection, even
yeah.
though you might not feel the warmth from her, that
Mhm.
small connection can be the start of moving forward
Mhm.
together, can't it? Because
Amazing.
just the presence, and she might not acknowledge it, but she'll know that you're there.
Yeah.
You know?
And I love also how you've mentioned here how you're doing collaborations with people. So
Yeah,
you're bringing experts in their field to
yeah,
come together to support, through the medium of your box. So I'm assuming it's like a little QR code that then gets scanned to go to a video.
yeah. So it depends. So some products are different. So Dina, the school avoidance coach, she actually put a lovely mindfulness activity in this month's box. It's just gone out, and it was all about being grateful. And so she put together a wee double-sided A5 sheet, and it was about a chocolate bar. So I attached a chocolate bar to it. and it was using your five senses of how to appreciate, how to be grateful for the chocolate bar before you actually scoff it. So what does it look like? What does it smell like? What does it feel like?
Yeah.
All that, and really taking the time to properly think about it.
Yeah.
So that was just a wee practical activity that was just printed on a wee sheet. But I've got a lovely lassie that I met called Lacey, and she's a breathwork and somatics expert. So she's recorded some videos of movement and breathwork activities, and those are a QR code that go into the box. I have a story massage. I've got one coming up for the Christmas box, and I've had one for a previous box as well. And again, it's a beautifully put together booklet by a lovely baby massage expert who's trained up to age 16, I think it is, she's trained to. And she put together this lovely story massage. And that's all stuff that if I was in school, I would have found something on YouTube or somewhere and say, right, we're going to watch this lovely video, because I don't have the skills to deliver that. So you try and call for somewhere else. But when I was starting the box, I didn't actually realise that this would be a wonderful byproduct of it, that I'm actually getting to meet all these, and it's all women, I have to say, these amazing women who are happy to contribute their skills so that the girls will benefit from experts, not just what I think works. Yeah, it's great. I'm really excited. I do get really excited, Killing.
You can tell. I love it. I absolutely love it. And I work with energy, right? Because everything's energy. So
yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
I'm even sitting here thinking, even knowing the love that you're putting into everything, it's like, for me, I always know when a meal has been cooked with great love. When, if it's just a takeaway and it's just been slapped together, it's like,
Aye.
for me, it's about the energy and the love that has been poured into everything. And, that's what's really coming across in this conversation, Cheryl, how passionate you are. Your why has been driven by the love of your daughter,
Yeah.
and now taking that out to help others, and the love that you're putting into all of this, will be felt by, undoubtedly, by the recipients of these beautiful boxes. So, it's just beautiful what you're doing. It's just beautiful, and I bet that I can see this in a couple of years being really, really big. I can see you actually getting approached by some major companies
That'd be
for
exciting.
this concept. I really, really can see this really blossoming massively, and I think you're going to need quite a bit of help and support with it. So prepare yourself.
I know.
At the moment, you're based near Edinburgh.
Yeah.
So is this like a mail order service? How do people find you, get in touch with you? How would they order? And
Yeah.
where do you send it to?
Okay, so I have a website, so it's all online. So the website is happythoughtsquad.com. And if you just go on there, and you'll find a wee bit about me, a wee bit about the story behind it, like we've been sharing, and you'll get to see examples of the boxes, because obviously the boxes change every month. So I can't say you're definitely going to get this, but there's examples of the primary box, which is called Spark and Sunshine box. And then my older box is called Bloom and Thrive. And so there's examples of what that looks like. So yeah, just go onto my website. You'll find me also on Instagram and Facebook. You'll find me. And there's links to the Facebook support group if you want to join that. You're very welcome. That's free. I've also dipped my toe in TikTok, which I'm not enjoying, but I'm putting myself out there, trying my
Being
best.
brave.
Trying my best. Yeah. But mainly Instagram is where I am, and it's Happy Thought Squad. And then to order is via my website.
Perfect. So we'll drop all your links below this
That'd be
episode
great.
so people
Thank
can
you.
find you easily. And also for anybody that's interested in collaborating with you, Cheryl, and contributing to this beautiful subscription box as well, they'll be able to find you on any of your socials and your website as well. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's like a wee contact form on my website, or you just message me through DMs or whatever. Yeah, that'd be lovely. I'm always open to working with other amazing people who are so talented, and happy to support them too.
Fantastic. So it's nationwide because it's like
Yeah, so it gets
yeah.
delivered on the 15th of every month.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Royal Mail delivered, so UK wide I can do anywhere in the UK. I've been asked if I could do it abroad, but it's a wee bit tricky just with all the tariffs and everything, and the postage would be different. So at the moment I'm UK wide. So yeah.
So we're looking for a collaborator to come and support you with that. Oh, what a joyous conversation, Cheryl. It's been so lovely to have you on. I'm so grateful for you coming on and speaking about this amazing, amazing, life-changing, idea that you've got. It's just beautiful. So before you go,
Yes.
one of my own creations was my own Oracle deck, which is a year now it's been out in the world.
Wow.
I would love to pull an Oracle card message for you as a gift from me to you for coming on today. And we'll just set the intention that this is for everybody that's tuning in to receive this message as well.
Lovely. I'm excited.
So we'll see what's coming out for you, Cheryl. Oh, I love this. I love, love, love it. One of my favourite cards, Soul Mining.
Wow.
So every one of these cards on my deck reflects like a different part of my own awakening journey, if you like. And I grew up in an ex-mining village, so
This
that,
guy.
that's what inspired.
Yep.
What inspired this card, but it's about the soul that we're mining. So find the gold you hold. I think you might have found yours. So let's just share this message for everyone. Deep within you lies a treasure trove of wisdom and light, waiting to be unearthed. The journey of soul mining invites you to delve into the depths of your being, to explore the hidden recesses of your soul, where your true gold resides. This is a path of inner discovery, where the greatest rewards often lie in the places we least expect, within the shadows, the challenges, and the aspects of ourselves we have yet to fully embrace. As you embark on this inner journey, trust in your ability to uncover the precious gifts that are uniquely yours. The process may be demanding, as it requires courage to face the parts of yourself that have been buried or forgotten. Yet it is in these very shadows that your brightest treasures are hidden. Your strength, your wisdom, your deepest truths. Allow yourself to be patient and gentle as you mine for this inner gold. With each step, you draw closer to the core of who you truly are, and with each discovery, you become more aligned with your soul's highest purpose. Remember, the gold within you is not just for you, it is meant to be shared, to light the way for others, and to bring beauty and love into the world.
Wow, Kelly, honestly, I'm getting goosebumps. How real is that? I mean, how?
How apt. I know it never fails to amaze me the perfectness of each card that comes out to reflect each story. So,
Wow.
when we are in the depths of despair, when we're struggling, when we're
Yep.
having challenges, anxieties like a bit out of the control for us, it's actually going through it and feeling it
Yeah.
and bringing it all back home to love, to embrace it.
Yeah.
And by going through it, we find the gold that's there, our true gifts.
Wow. Thank you so much. I'm really grateful for that. You've actually made my day. You have. I'm actually tingling.
Oh, bless you.
I am. That's lovely. That's lovely.
Bless
Oh,
you.
love it. Love it. Thank you so much. I've
Oh,
really loved today. It's been great.
oh, my absolute pleasure, Cheryl. Thank you so much for coming on today. As I've said, beautiful, beautiful concept, beautiful service. We'll have all your links down below so everybody can find you. Any collaborators that are interested can find you easily as well. And thank you to everybody for tuning in today and for listening to this episode. And I'm sure you will be inspired to go and have a look at Cheryl's fabulous website and maybe think about subscribing for your own daughter. Sending you all big, big love. Thank you, Cheryl. Mwah.
Bye.
Bye
Thank you.
bye, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Soul Call with Kelly B today. If this episode spoke to your heart I'd be so grateful if you'd take a moment to like, subscribe, or share it with someone who needs to hear it. Your support truly means the world, and it helps this message ripple even further. And if you're feeling called to explore more of my work, my latest offerings, sessions, and ways to connect are all in the show notes below. I would love to hear from you. Until next time, keep listening to your beautiful soul. With so much love, Kelly.